Arsenal have just left it late against Brentford. And I tell you what, if you're in that Arsenal dressing room now and you're Aaron Ramsdale, you must be taking a big, big sigh of relief. A massive mistake at half-time. Raya obviously couldn't play because he's on loan from Brentford. Ramsdale comes in, makes a massive mistake. And look, I mean, what a story that would have been if it had finished 1-1. But Havertz has come up and won it for them. And it's an absolutely massive, massive game. Look, I think in a title race, Arsenal have been brilliant since Christmas. Really, really good. And I expected them to win quite comfortably tonight. But in some ways, if you spoke to Arteta afterwards, deep down, he's probably quite happy with that. You know, you win 4-0, everything's going right, but you always find out about your team when things go wrong. And it did go wrong. And they've had to grind out that result at the end. And that's a different side. You know, when you're playing well and you win 3 or 4-0, you know you can't do that for 38 games. You know you've got to win games like that. And Brentford did really well. I mean, to be fair to Ramsdale, he made 2 big saves in the second half. But look, the complexion of that mistake by Ramsdale is huge. If they go in 1-0 at half-time, second half, Thomas Frank's got to say to Brentford, open up, and maybe Arsenal get 2 or 3. But going in at half-time after the mistake, Thomas Frank's saying, look, keep it the same, keep it tight. They've got to break us down again. And it's a different job for Arsenal. But they did get that job done. 8 wins in a row for Arsenal now. It's a nice habit to have. But look, also, I want to know your calls on this. Maybe some Brentford fans, maybe Liverpool fans, maybe Man City fans. Your rivals, Arsenal, should Havertz have been on the pitch? He's got a yellow card. He's took a tumble in the box. Brentford players surrounded the referee and said, look, that's a dive. Why is he not getting a second yellow card? Was the referee right to ignore that? I've got to be honest. I personally didn't think he should have got a second yellow. But not because I'm not saying he shouldn't in the sense of the law. I think technically in the law, he probably should have done. We watch games as fans and I just felt, I don't think he should be getting a second yellow for that. But look, some people might feel very, very differently, and I probably couldn't argue with it really. I think that, it's one of those that really, and it would have had a big impact. Do Arsenal go on and win that game? But look, let's be honest, Arsenal have had a couple of bad decisions go their way this season as well. And look, lots of people lining up to come on the show. I've got to say, I've just been watching the Havertz dive again, and I watched it like most of you. I'm sort of starting to turn towards why Brentford and Liverpool and Man City fans are really annoyed. I mean, he dives. There's one angle where it looks like there's a bit of touch, but the other one, I mean, there's clear daylight between him and the attempted tackle. And it's one of those, we were just talking about it then. It really is. If he sends him off, I understand Arsenal fans being frustrated. And if he doesn't get sent off for the second yellow, you can understand everyone else getting frustrated. It comes down to the same old thing we seem to talk about every week: consistency. What's a handball? What's a red card? And if you give a yellow card for diving every time someone dives, then fine. You can't give a yellow card for diving if there's a bit of contact, because how can you judge, the force that it takes someone to go down? But when there's no contact and they've clearly simulated like that, then that's where VAR should be doing its job. But we don't get that consistency across other games in the Premier League. So I do have a sympathy with Arsenal and not Havertz. He knows what he's doing, but I do have a sympathy with Arsenal fans. But when you watch it back from the angle where there's no contact, it's a blatant dive. And personally, I don't blame the referee. I blame the PGMOL. There's just not enough clarity on this. Either you're going to give yellow cards out for it or you're not. And to be fair, that's that uncertainty that we get. But VAR could have had a look at it afterwards. Ref bottled it. Let me know what your thoughts. We've got Zach, who's an Arsenal fan. Evening, Zach. Must be over the moon. What were your thoughts on the game?
Hi, Mark. Top show, mate. Yeah, I've just on my way back from the game. I thought, you know what I thought? I've been going to Arsenal for 20 years, and over the years, I've sat there head in hand praying that we will score and just create something, and there's so much anxiety in the stadium. I really didn't feel that. I've really felt like, obviously, Ramsdale's made a huge error, but yeah. I trusted the players, and I was very confident. I knew we would get at least one goal. I was so sure that we would, and I think that's the difference of where we are now compared to Arsenal from 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting, Zach, because I would have thought, Arsenal fans, they'd be, worried, thinking about last season, at the end of the season. I know you had a couple of games there, but the form has been so good recently. But why do you think that is? Why do you think it is that you're just more relaxed? Is it just a trust in Arteta, a trust in the players compared to previous years?
Yeah, I think it's a complete trust in the process. I mean, we've seen how we've been playing since Christmas, just absolutely blowing teams away. You can't expect to win 6-0 every week. So you know what? To have a game where it was tight, it was tough, it was cagey, it was 1-1, and we really have to win given the game tomorrow and where we are in the league. I just feel like now Arteta's earned that as fans, we just have to go, look, he's shown he can do this for the last few months. Let's trust him. And then obviously Havertz pops up with a fantastic header, and you can't be disappointed with that.
Obviously, you're going to want the draw, I presume, tomorrow. But if it's not a draw, would you rather Liverpool win it?
100%. Obviously, I want the draw, but otherwise, I'm a big Liverpool fan. I think if City win, they just don't stop winning. I think Liverpool, they've been grinding out results. I mean, last week against Forest was a joke. So I think I'm more trusting that they will bottle it than City, who I think are just unstoppable when they start going. So yeah, big Liverpool fan tomorrow, otherwise draw.
Thanks, Zach. Great call. Appreciate that. Let's hear from another Arsenal fan as well. We've got Pierre on the line. Pierre, how you doing?
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
Yeah,
Man United won, but we're here to talk about Arsenal. What was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, do you know what? Similar to last caller, I always thought we were going to come back, and obviously went down. The keeper made a mistake, but I thought Arsenal would...
Hello, Pierre. I think he might. He's dropped off there. Maybe we'll get Pierre back on, but he was feeling confident. And that's a really interesting thing, because obviously I don't support Arsenal. The atmosphere seems to be much improved at the Emirates over the last 18 months. And that's a powerful thing. We had that with United for years, where you just get to a point where you expect to score. You're 1-1. It's one of those days, but you expect that goal in the last 20 minutes. And it's amazing the journey that Arteta's been on at Arsenal, whereby he's now got the fans in that situation where they believe that those things are going to happen. And it's a very powerful thing, because the crowd doesn't then become tense. It's pushing the team to score. And that it is an amazing thing when you've got the fans behind you like that, who aren't, moaning about every misplaced pass in the last 10 minutes and getting nervous. And the players feed off that. And now they're feeding off it in a very positive way. So big win for Arsenal, as I said. Look, the Havertz thing's controversial, but no one's really spoke about it yet. Let's see if we get some calls in on that. 03717 223344. Don't forget to download the talkSPORT app to listen to all of our stations with just one click, including talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2, Times Radio, Talk TV, and Virgin Radio. This is the Mark Goldbridge show, though, on talkSPORT. News and sport coming next. Then we're taking more of your calls, and I'll be talking about Manchester United.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.